Brett, who's your garbage person of the week?
My garbage person of the week is Donald Trump. Like, there's a lot of ways to describe a plane crash. There's a lot of ways to describe a giant tragedy. And when you're the president of the United States, you probably have a lot of people helping you characterize this thing in ways that don't seem wildly insane. But, he goes on his own and compares the plane crash to golf. Take a look.
Who would think that you're in space and two things collide? The odds of that happening are so small, even without proper control. They were understaffed for whatever reason. I guess the helicopter was high, and we'll find out exactly what happened. But the odds, even if you had nothing, if you had nobody, the odds of that happening are extremely small. It's like, did you ever see, you go to a driving range in golf and you're hitting balls, hundreds of balls, thousands of hours. I never see a ball hit another ball. Balls going up all over the place, you never see them hit. It was amazing that could happen. There was a lot of mistakes made, and it should have never happened. But regardless of that, it's amazing that it happened.
Yeah, well, when the golf course happens at the driving range, there's a lot of different points of origin and a lot of different destinations, all of which can be inhabited at all different times. In an airport, everybody's using the same runway. I think you'd have a lot more if there were people hitting the balls in different directions. Also, people died. Like, what is happening? What is happening? And I'm not the person who's like, oh my God, Trump is there's a lack of grace in the White House. I'm like, also, like, why are we throwing any kind of support and credence in what this guy is saying when all of his ideas are just so stupid? Like, I play golf, at the driving range. Planes are bigger than golf balls. And it's so revelatory that, like, instead of doing his job, the guy is always playing golf. Like, when I played Tetris a lot as a kid, I would always make these Tetris references. This guy is not presidenting. Other people who are presidenting would be like, oh, this reminds me of this other crash, this other scenario. Here's what's changed in the system as I compare it to other points of reference a president encounters. But this guy is like a golfer with a hobby that's called being president. And that's why you see these kinds of analyses. Like, and anyone, I'm always reminded that, like, Obama had a tan suit once and fist bumped his wife instead of hugging her. And he's a terrorist. Meanwhile, like, I see Josh Hawley, who's basically a Nazi. Like, you can't kiss his wife because he's a Nazi. And like Donald Trump's out there being like, oh, the people who died are like golf balls.
Yeah,
and like, bro, like, you're not making me feel like this is gonna get any better, because as we see in graphic 2, Elon Musk will now, quote, plug in to also commandeer the US air traffic control system, according to the transportation secretary. What is going on? At least this is closer to his wheelhouse, but like, that guy's rockets blow up all the time. One did, like, very recently. Air traffic controlling is a matter of staffing. It's a matter of training. It's a matter of not doing businessy stuff to it. Everything Trump did at X is like, get rid of all kinds of people that are doing all kinds of things and replacing them with no people. Donald Trump, in his analysis, is basically like, he kind of left the door open for there not to be people doing this. And worse, he puts the most anti-people person in charge, Elon Musk. It's not gonna get better. It's gonna get worse.
Yeah, what are we hoping for? That air traffic control is gonna be Grok AI or guys in fake robot costumes dancing around?
Let me put it more explicitly. This is the guy who's trying to make driverless cars happen, and I always see his driverless cars go crazy and crash into.
Yeah.
That's who you're putting in charge.
Okay.
And the worst part is all these people who run it like a business coming from like the technology sector, they always say fail early and fail often. We can't afford to do that in government. That's why those things are different.
Certainly not with air traffic control, which again, he has no experience in. It's not a thing he's done. Why is he involved in this? What does that have to do with cutting government waste or whatever the cover story for Doge planting, worms and things in government servers? What does that have to do with literally anything? The dude, Sean Duffy, comes out and says, I asked him, how long is it gonna take? 2 years, 3 years? And he says, no, we can do it in 1. Well, that is reassuring. Elon Musk, the guy who has lied about the timeline for every product launch he's ever done, and all the evidence is online. I don't know why he gets to just say it'll take X days or X years. And everybody just reports it, even though he's always gotten it wrong because he knows there's no consequences. He just overhypes it and doesn't hit the mark. And he has no experience. He hasn't done anything like this. Why the hell would you hire him? And so, look, Donald Trump is doing his weird thing. It's hard for him to act like he's showing empathy when he doesn't experience empathy, and he cares more about golf than he does about the people who died. But the bigger issue is that they are making many changes that will make this sort of thing happening materially more likely. And so there will be more accidents than there need to be because they're firing people, they're putting people who are not qualified in charge of air traffic control. So it's like funny when he talks about swimming and golf balls or whatever, but it's also a tragedy that already happened and waiting to happen as well. Members make a difference here at TYT. You help make the show happen, and we see you in the chat with your loyalty badge. Click the join button to become a member today.